Here is your Radio Theater Channel weekly podcast for download. The RTC still has the very best old-time radio on the live streaming. And if it's music you love, tune in to the RTC Music Channel, where this link and many others are on our website at oldtimeradiolisten.com. Now, here's Jim.
Hello and welcome to the RTC Weekly Download. I'm your host, Jim Dolan, and welcome to the show. Today we have The Shadow and The Giant of Madras from 1948, and after that, Cupid Can Be Deadly. That's from an episode of The Crime Club. Right now, The Shadow.
What evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows.
The Shadow, who aids the forces of law and order, is in reality Lamont Cranston, wealthy young man about town. Years ago in the Orient, Cranston learned a strange and mysterious secret: the hypnotic power to cloud men's minds so they cannot see him. Cranston's friend and companion, the lovely Margot Lane, is the only person who knows to whom the voice of the invisible Shadow belongs. Today's drama, The Giant of Madras. At 9:15 of a stormy spring evening, Lamont and Margot were sitting in the lounge car of a deluxe transcontinental train.
Lamont, can you imagine what these vast plains were like 100 years ago?
Yeah, vast.
Oh. No, but think of all the troubles the people in those days had, and the adventures. Fording streams, fighting Indians, herds of buffalo.
Quite a life.
And today you just get in a train and whisk across them safe as a bug in a rug.
Oh, I think a bug was equally as safe in a covered wagon. There's been quite an improvement as far as human beings are concerned.
But you really prefer all this civilization?
It's restful.
But just a little dull, don't you think?
Perhaps. But I wouldn't be able to think at all with a Sioux's tomahawk buried in my skull.
No, I guess that would be a disadvantage. Maybe I'm just sleepy.
It reminds me, so am I. Oh, conductor.
Yes, sir?
Do you have the porter make up our berths, please? Lower 10 and lower 11 in car 15.
Certainly, sir. And when do you want to be called?
Let's see, we'll be coming into our station at 1:55. Better call us at 1:30.
Very well, sir. I'll tell the porter.
Oh, better call us at 1. I'll need time to get ready.
Oh, of course. All right, conductor, call us at 1. Time and the miles slipped by, and it was a little after 12 when... The train blew for a water stop 3 miles ahead. Now, this was usually a very deserted locality, this water stop. However, tonight it wasn't so deserted. In fact, if you counted the men, there were a half dozen of them.
You hear that?
She's coming.
It's her. On time. Everybody know what they're supposed to do? Hickey?
Yes.
Spider?
Yep.
Radner?
Sure.
Gardy?
Yep.
Jackson?
Yeah.
Okay. No slips now, no nerves. Uniform set? Conductors, firemen, porters?
Uniform's all set, Gannon.
Okay. You all know the man you're going to pick when you get aboard. Find him, take care of him, and start looking.
It's going to be a little tough finding it, Ganlon.
Yeah. How are we going to locate it? He won't be wearing it on his forehead. Once we take over, that'll work itself out.
Here she comes. Right on the button.
Anybody getting yellow, this is a time to back out. All right. Keep your finger on your trigger and your safety catch off. Nobody sells anyone else short. We're a cinch for $1 million. You hear me? $1 million.
We hear you, Gannon.
Okay, then. Move in.
wake up.
Margot, what are you doing up?
What time is it?
I don't know. Wait a minute, I'll look at my watch. Just 12 minutes after 10. After 10?
Of course not. Your watch has stopped.
Huh? Oh, yeah, so it has.
Looks awfully much like it's getting to be morning.
Morning? That's impossible. I told the conductor to tell the porter to wake us at 1 a.m.
It isn't possible that he forgot to tell the porter.
Oh, ye gods, I hope not.
He could have, and we could already be hundreds of miles past our station.
Wait a minute, I'll ring for the conductor.
Won't help you much.
Why not?
He doesn't come. I've been ringing for the last half hour.
Well, he's probably snoozing in the lounge car. I'll go see. Oh, there's nobody in here, apparently.
Appearances are often deceiving, my young friend.
I didn't see you sitting there in the shadows.
There are times in life when the value of inconspicuousness cannot be overrated.
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure. I'm looking for the conductor.
Of course you are. Several passengers have passed through here in search of that same gentleman in blue.
Have you seen him?
Not a sign of him. The fact is, my young friend, I fear we are all in for a bit of a blow.
Yes?
Yes. Tell me, are you an honest man?
Well, I filched a brace of candy bars on my 9th birthday.
And since that deprecation?
Spotless record.
Most interesting.
What's even more interesting is the whereabouts of that conductor. He was supposed to wake us at 1 o'clock.
Then I fear he has failed you utterly.
What do you mean?
The night has grown much older than 1 o'clock.
Well, my watch has stopped.
On the other hand, mine has not. There. It has chimed the quarter of the hour.
Well, let's see. Quarter of... Oh, no.
But yes.
Why, it's incredible.
Not incredible, my young friend. Human events proceed with irresistible logic. Some steal while others prey. So runs the world away.
But 5:15, we must be halfway across the continent.
Better than half.
Oh, where is the conductor? Where is he?
That is what many would like to know.
Well, I'll find out.
The best of luck, my young friend.
Conductor! Conductor! Who's that?
You wake everybody up, sir. You were calling me?
Yes, where'd you turn up from?
Oh, I just come through the lounge car right behind you, sir. What can I do for you?
My name is Lamont Cranston. Are you the man I told to call us at 1 o'clock?
No, but I relieved that fellow a little after midnight.
And he didn't tell you about our call?
Sure. I was going to call you, sir.
When? When we got to Malibu Beach?
No. 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock?
Yeah, I got 15 minutes yet. It's only 12:45.
Look, friend, it's getting to be morning.
Oh, you mean because of the way the sky looks? That's not morning, Mr. Cranston. That's light from some industrial plants just over the horizon.
Look, it happens I know what time it is. The bald-headed gentleman with the monocle sitting in the lounge car showed me his watch. It's 4:45.
What's that about a bald-headed gentleman in a lounge car?
He's sitting in the shadows by the bar. Didn't you see him?
That's funny. No, I didn't.
Well, you must not have looked. He's there.
I'm used to keeping my eyes open, Mr. Cranston. If you ask me, that lounge car is empty.
I just talked to the gentleman. Are you by any chance suggesting I'm out of my mind?
One of us is. Shall we go see which, Mr. Cranston?
All right, here we are.
Where'd you say he was sitting?
Right here, beside...
I told you there was nobody here.
Well, he was here. He probably left the car at the other end.
Passenger couldn't leave this car at the other end. Because next ahead is a baggage car, and that door ain't left open. Now, if I was you, I'd get myself a little more sleep, Mr. Cranston. Oh, pardon me, miss.
Lamont, what's going on?
He was here, sitting right here. Where could he have gone?
What are you talking about?
I just had a somewhat peculiar experience, Margot. There was a little man sitting here not 10 minutes ago. He showed me his watch.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it rang the quarter of the hour. It's one of those old-fashioned ones that chime.
So?
Well, now he's disappeared.
Well, before we go any further with the fairy story, did you find out what time it is?
The conductor says it's not 1 o'clock yet, but by the stranger's watch, it would now be just about 5 o'clock. Listen.
What's that?
It's him. That's his watch chiming.
Well, where is he? Under the seat?
No, he isn't. His watch is. Look, this is it. This is the watch he showed me.
The crystal's all smashed.
The hour hand's broken off.
It must have fallen.
Looks more like somebody gave it the business with a sledgehammer.
Yusef? Yusef? Yusef, are you here? Oh, I beg your pardon, young people. I am looking for my husband. Have you seen him, perhaps?
Probably. A small gentleman with no hair wearing a monocle?
Yes. What have you done with him?
Now, wait a minute. The question is, what has he done to me?
What do you mean?
Well, he vanished practically in front of my eyes.
Vanished?
Yes, he was sitting right here by the bar. I stepped outside for a few minutes. When I came...
What's that? Yusef!
It's coming from inside this liquor closet.
It is him. It is him.
Wait a minute, give me room. Are you all right in there? This door is stuck. There.
Out of my way.
Oh, he's hurt. Yusef. Who did this?
The giant of Madras.
What happened to it? This young man here. He took it? No?
No, my young friend did not take it. He did not take it. He only...
Yusef, quick, he is falling.
What?
Yusef, speak to me. The diamond, Yusef. Speak to me.
Spoken about as much as could be expected. Considering the fact there's a knife between his shoulder blades.
He's dead. Oh, Lamont. He would not want us to mourn him. It is the giant we must think of. The giant of Madras.
There's a giant in this, too?
Not giant man. Giant jewel. Diamond, pure white. Flat circular cut. 25 carat. 25 carat? Yusef's purchasing agent to His Holy Majesty Mahatma Maharaja Katpur.
And he has this diamond on him?
Yes, on his person. Even I did not know how he was carrying it. Perhaps in his shoe, perhaps a money belt, perhaps...
Perhaps in the back of his watch.
Yes, perhaps. Let me see it.
I'll take that watch.
What?
My friend the conductor. The 1 o'clock scholar.
Come on, he's got a gun.
Let's have the timepiece, Cranston.
Not trying to pretend it's yours.
I ain't pretending nothing. I got a gun in this hand. I want that watch in the other.
I'm sorry. We have a special use for this particular timepiece.
Hand over the watch, Cranston, and hand it over fast, or you'll never know what time it is.
Margot and Lamont, on a deluxe transcontinental train, discover the body of an East Indian gentleman locked in the lounge car liquor cabinet. The fabulous diamond called the Giant of Madras, which he was carrying with him, has disappeared. Cranston, the East Indian's wife, and Margot are about to examine the dead man's huge, old-fashioned watch with the diamond when...
I'll take that watch, Cranston.
Well, if it isn't my friend the conductor...
Come on, he's got a gun.
Hand over the watch, Cranston. Hand it over fast, or you'll never know what
You
time
have
it
bad
is.
manners to turn your back on an old lady.
Huh?
However, the old lady has a gun at your spine
A gun?
and suggests you keep your back turned. Relieve him of the firearm, Mr. Cranston.
Right.
Now then, we will perhaps store him in the closet for safekeeping until we have a better idea of what is going on this train, no?
It's a good idea. Come on.
Wait a minute.
Step lively, Mr. Conductor. There's plenty of room inside.
What's he doing? It is a signal.
Maybe he has friends aboard. Listen, put a stop to that.
Good work, young friend.
Now. There we are.
He certainly wanted Yusef's watch. Yes,
Yes, he probably agreed with my deduction the Giant of Madras may be inside it.
very likely. Why don't we look and see? One moment. Well, it is not here. Well, then where in the world can it be?
I don't know. But whoever killed him wouldn't have left it in his pockets.
Someone on train has the diamond. Lamont, look.
Huh?
A station just flashed by.
What station?
Galensville. And there's no Galensville.
What kind of talk is that?
I was looking at the rail map, reading myself to sleep. There is no Galensville on this route.
Never a dull moment. Though I'd appreciate a few just now. Well, as far as I can see...
Listen,
Someone knocking.
it's from the car up ahead, the baggage car. What is wrong?
It's a question I can soon answer. Stay behind with Ala, Margot.
No, I'll do nothing of the kind. I'm going with you.
But,
Don't argue.
Okay, you win. We'll leave you in charge, Ala.
Good luck go with you, young friend. Someone's locked in the baggage car.
If I can just snap this catch. There. Now, here goes. Stand away, sweetheart. The storm warnings are up. Who are you? You're not one of them. Are you? Are you?
Look, Lamont, it's the conductor.
You're passengers, aren't you? What else could we be?
Murderers, bandits, heaven only knows.
What are you talking about?
There are 6 of them, led by some man they called Ganlon. They're after a 25-carat diamond.
Where are they?
Everywhere. They've taken over. They've stopped the train about midnight, put me and the rest of the crew out of the way, and are running the train themselves.
That explains everything. No call, the murdered little man, the conductor with a gun in his hand. Yes, everything's as clear as a well-praised death warrant.
What are we going to do?
Best we can do is to pray we reach Los Angeles alive.
I'm not at all sure we're even going there.
What do you mean?
We just passed a station that's not on the Los Angeles itinerary.
What station?
Galensville.
Galensville, no.
What's the matter?
They've made a mistake. They've taken the North Spur at the junction. The Galensville route doesn't connect with the main tracks for another 50 miles.
Oh, so what?
There's a bridge on this route over Belvedere Canyon. The bridge collapsed at 11 o'clock last night. We just got the flash 5 minutes before they took the train over.
No.
And Belvedere Canyon is a drop of 2,000 feet.
Lamont.
Easy, darling. How far ahead is this bridge?
It's only 20 miles from Galensville.
Well, looks like we have to stop this train.
We've got a fat chance. There are 5 armed men against it.
5?
Sure. There are half a dozen to begin with, and one of them got knocked off in the scuffle.
And I just locked one of our little playmates in the liquor closet in the lounge car.
Where are they now, the remaining 4?
Probably up ahead in the engine.
Well, Lamont, maybe we could talk to them, reason with them, explain to them that we're all going down together at the bottom of Belvedere Canyon.
They're too slick to believe the truth. They think it was some kind of a gag.
What do you suggest?
Gosh, I don't know. But, I think the easiest way would be if Ganlon and his boys found what they were looking for. They got hold of the diamond, we could make a deal with them to stop in the stretch of pine woods just this side of Belvedere Bridge.
But we don't know where the diamond is.
Are you sure?
What?
Are you sure you don't know where the diamond is?
Of course we are.
Speak for yourself, darling.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm not so sure we don't know where the diamond is.
But...
Is the door open going into the next car?
Yes.
Okay, see you later.
Hey, what are you going to do?
I'm going to try to make a deal with those boys in the locomotive. Stay here, Margot.
Not in your life.
Now, look.
I'm going wherever you go.
Okay. Coming along, mister?
No, I'll risk it back here. I never developed a taste for hot lead.
Just as you please. If we crash at Belvedere Bridge, you'll know the deal fell through.
Come on, look. The door at the end of the car's open. You can see straight through the controls of the locomotive.
Quick, get over into the shadow. This must be the Ganlon boys.
Funny.
Huh? What is?
I only see 3 of them.
3 will be plenty. I wonder.
What?
Remember the man we locked in the liquor closet?
Yes.
Remember that whistle?
Yes? What about it?
I think it might prove no end valuable in this particular emergency. Anyhow, it's worth a try.
Lamont, they'll hear you.
That's what I want them to do. Maybe they'll come back to investigate.
One of them's coming.
First candidate for a fractured jaw. Keep in the shadows.
Hickey, where are you? It's me, Radner. Hickey, where are you? Hey, Hickey, why don't you answer me?
What if it's not Hickey? There's one less hoodlum to worry about.
What happens now?
A rebroadcast for our next playmate. The second candidate.
Hickey, what's happening? Radner, are you there? Answer me. Somebody's spider sent me to Garrity.
Glad to meet you, Mr. Garrity.
You're not Hickey?
You bet I'm not. 2 up for outside.
Now what?
The next features an interview with a gentleman named Spider who seems to be in charge of operations. Come on.
Who is that, Radner?
No.
Garrity?
No.
Then who is it?
My name is Lamont Cranston.
What is it?
There's a bridge a few miles ahead over Belvedere Canyon, Spider. There are enough rails missing to let us drop 2,000 feet. I think you'd better start slowing down.
What are you giving me?
The truth. Put on those brakes.
Look, mister, we're aboard to lay hands on a certain piece of merchandise. That's all we got in our minds just at the moment.
That piece of merchandise wouldn't be the Giant of Madras, would it?
So you're wise.
Suppose I was to tell you how to lay your hands on the merchandise in question, Spider.
You mean you know where the diamond is?
Could be. Slow down and we'll talk.
We'd better talk now, Mr. Cranston.
Lamont, it's our conductor from the baggage car.
Yes. If I'm not mistaken, the Mr. Ganlon we've been hearing so much about.
Where's the diamond, Cranston? You'd better talk fast. There's not much time.
I've changed my mind. I've forgotten where the diamond is.
Lamont.
The canyon is less than a quarter of a mile away, just around the bend.
Maybe you'd better tell him, Lamont.
No.
It's not just our lives. There are 80 passengers aboard.
The lady's right.
They're rounding the curve.
Lamont, we're in that stretch of pine woods he told us about.
There's the tunnel straight ahead. Ready to talk, Cranston?
I told you no.
If you want me to stop, boss, better tell me now. Another 50 yards, you'll be too late to change your mind.
Come on, Cranston, crack.
No.
Lamont, it's the tunnel.
Where's the dynamite?
Forget it.
Okay, Spider. Let her go.
We're through the tunnel. We didn't fall. The tracks went out. You made that up to trick Lamont into telling you where the diamond was.
I won't trick him anymore. I'll use a gun instead. Come on, Cranston, West. Hey, where is he?
He was standing right there. What's that?
Where's that coming from?
Right here, beside the controls.
But there's nobody there.
There's someone here, Gatlin. The Shadow is here. Here to see that this little adventure ends in proper justice.
Stop the train, Spider. Let's get out of this.
I can't stop it. Something is holding my hand. I can't move.
Stop it, do you hear?
You can't, Gatlin. I'm holding him. This train goes down to the main line junction and the next police station.
Yeah? That's a game two can play. Come here.
Shadow, help!
Now turn Spider loose or this thing goes over the side. This time it's no trick. I'll give you the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Shadow! You at the controls. Sit where you are.
What happened?
I am sorry to have waited until the last minute. But I am an old woman, and I have never killed before in my whole life.
Oh, don't apologize. I'll never be able to thank you enough.
You do not have to thank me. If you will help me find the giant of Madras.
You will not have to look for it, Ara.
What voice is this?
The giant of Madras is not lost. Your husband was a good and quick judge of human nature. In the emergency, knowing that the train had been taken over by thieves with the express purpose of stealing the diamond, he entrusted it to Mr. Cranston's care by the simple expedient of dropping it into his pocket. Here is the jewel.
Look, the giant of Madras. It is coming towards me, suspended in the air. No one is holding it. Look!
Yes, someone is holding it. I am holding it, Ara. I am returning it to you.
You? Who are you?
I am the Shadow.
Well, Margot, it's been quite a night.
I'll say it has. I'm so tired I could nearly die.
Well, you mustn't complain. We're lucky to be alive, if you ask me.
Very lucky.
What are you thinking about, darling?
The scenery outside. Vast plains going by.
What about them?
I was just thinking about the pioneers. What an easy time they really had. No streamlined trains. No giants of Madras. No Mr. Ganlons. All they did was to travel around in comfortable covered wagons with nothing to be afraid of but wild buffaloes and Indians.
The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The Shadow knows.
Now here's Bob and Ray with another episode of The Gathering Dusk.
Time now for another episode of The Gathering Dusk, the heartwarming story of a bedridden girl who ignores her illness to be overcome by the indifference of the world around her. As we look in on the Bessinger household today, Edna is resting on the banister of the basement stairway. It's mid-morning, and Mr. Fundy, the chief of the Red Boiling Springs Alcohol Tax Investigation Unit, is just entering.
Oh, it's you, Red Boiling Springs Alcohol Tax Investigation Unit Chief Fundy. It was good of you to come so soon.
Well, things were pretty quiet around the office this morning, Miss Bessinger. In fact, I was just playing a game of Scrabble with my assistant when you called, and I came.
Oh, is that so? I play quite a good deal of Scrabble myself.
Yes?
As a matter of fact, a bunch of girls here in the neighborhood have a Thursday evening Scrabble club, and I'm the sergeant-at-arms.
Well, I think it's a nice game. I enjoy it.
Oh, I do. Just last Thursday, I hit the word Quertus. On a triple, I picked up something like 45 points on it.
Quertus. What does Quertus mean, Miss Bessinger?
It doesn't mean anything. We have a club rule that you can use any word with a nice sound to it. You know, Quertus, Swidmore, Swank, Plovet, things like that.
Well, doesn't that kind of take the fun out of the game if you can just make up words?
Well, we don't make them up. They just don't happen to be in the dictionary.
I see.
Emma Schroeder is going on her vacation next week. Maybe you'd like to take her place at our Thursday night games while she's gone. It would give you a chance to meet a lot of attractive girls.
Well, thanks for the invitation, Miss Bessinger, but I do something else on Thursday night.
What?
I don't care anything.
Well, suit yourself.
Well, I'm sure you didn't call me over here to talk about Scrabble, Miss Bessinger. Is there something I can do for you?
Yes, there is, Red Boiling Springs Alcohol Tax Investigation Unit Chief Fundy. It's about the gentleman I've rented the front bedroom to. I was cleaning up in there this morning, and I found this bottle of hooch. Now, I don't want a man who drinks bootleg booze living in my house.
Well, what makes you think this is bootleg liquor, Miss Bessinger?
Well, you can see for yourself. There's no tax stamp on the bottle. When I took a swig of it, it almost blew the top of my head off. It's hooch, all right. I just hope he hasn't set up a still someplace here in the house.
Well, didn't you read the label on this bottle before you drank the stuff? It's aftershave lotion.
Well, I don't see how aftershave lotion could pack a wallop like that. You sure it isn't a phony label?
Of course I'm sure. It's probably the witch hazel in the stuff that gave you the kick.
Well, it certainly is a relief to know that I'm not harboring a criminal, Red Boiling Springs Alcohol Tax Investigation Unit Chief Fundy. I think I'll just kill the rest of the bottle to celebrate this good news. My stars, I almost feel as if I'm no longer standing in the gathering dusk.
But if the mysterious man in the upstairs bedroom is not a bootlegger, who could he really be? Be sure to join us next time when an even more baffling development occurs in The Gathering Dusk.
Now it's time for the Crime Club, and Cupid Can Be Deadly. This show is from 1947.
The Mutual Broadcasting System presents...
Hello, I hope I haven't kept you waiting. Yes, this is the Crime Club. I'm the librarian. Cupid Can Be Deadly. Yes, we have that story for you. Come right over. You're here. Good. Take the easy chair by the window. Comfortable? The manuscript is on this shelf. Here it is. Cupid Can Be Deadly. The very unusual story of a dream that was made of the stuff that killed. Let's look at it under the reading lamp. The house in the hills of Westchester was big and rambling, like a medieval castle. and it was owned by the beautiful and temperamental Linda Barry, the celebrated actress. It was late Saturday night, and Paul Palmer, a Broadway columnist and one of the weekend guests, came quickly down the stairs. And as he made the right-angle turn toward the library, he met Professor Caldwell, a psychologist, and another one of the guests.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Palmer. I didn't hear you coming.
I walk on my toes. Have you seen Toby?
Toby?
Miss Randolph.
Oh, yes. No, I haven't seen her in quite a while.
Where can that girl be?
Have you looked in her room?
Just now.
Well, I'm going out for a drive with Sam Winslow.
That phony private detective?
I'll look around outside if I should see Miss Randolph.
Yeah, tell her about me.
Well, of course. In the meantime, you might ask Miss Barry.
Where is she?
In the library. Now, if you don't mind.
I don't.
Well, thank you. I asked Mr. Winslow to be ready in 10 minutes. It's almost that now. Well, good luck, Mr. Palmer.
Why don't I stay home for a change?
Paul.
Linda, have you seen...
Yes?
What's the idea of the gun?
You'll find out.
Ah, the lady's mad.
You've got no idea how mad, honey.
You're sizzling.
Don't be clever.
I can't help it. Give me the gun.
No.
Give it to me. You can sizzle without it.
You had no right to do that, Paul.
It's done. Shall we go before an arbitration board?
You keyhole peeper.
Oh, a big one from a column. Linda Barry slaps a guest in her own house. And who was that guest? Your Broadway reporter.
That ought to make me the toast of the world. You can go home now, anytime you want.
Wait a minute.
I haven't got time.
We'll give it to you. Who was going to get that bullet?
Take your hand off that door, Paul.
Was it going to be your manager and half a heartthrob, Wally Brooks?
Paul?
Ah, then it was for the other half a heartthrob, Sam Winslow.
No.
You'll have to suck me again, honey. You're not leaving this room until... Oh, the lady's smiling.
Oh, you're such a fool.
Don't tell the guys in the other papers.
That bullet was for your girlfriend, Toby Randolph.
It's no use trying to talk me out of it, Wally. I'm going to get away from this place as soon as I can find Paul.
All right, Toby, you want to go, you can go, but why?
I don't like it here.
Meaning me?
No.
The house?
No.
Professor Caldwell's been lecturing you about the mine.
He doesn't bother me, Wally.
Then it must be on account of Sam Winslow.
Well...
That no good four-flusher,
He's not the reason, Wally.
Oh?
I can handle him.
Say, you're not running away from Linda, are you?
I am.
But why?
I don't like the way she creeps up on me.
That's too bad, honey.
Huh?
See what I mean?
Walking in the garden, arm in arm, for a rosy picture.
What's this all about, Linda?
I'll bet you couldn't find such a beautiful setting anywhere. Even the moon is perfect tonight.
What on earth are you talking about?
Excuse me, Wally. I'm not sticking around to find
You're
out.
sticking around, Toby.
Hey!
And you're going to find out how I really feel about you. Let go of my hair.
Linda!
You're not going to leave this place alive.
Let go of her, Linda.
You keep out of this, Wally.
Get her out of my hair. She's killing me.
I said let go of her, Linda. Let go.
You're breaking my fingers.
I'll break them, Linda, if you don't get your hands off.
All right. Let go of me.
Now.
Thanks, Wally. Now I'll give her a sample of my
No,
brand.
you don't.
But she
Toby.
got me from behind.
I don't care how she got you. But I want to know why. Well, Linda, why?
Nobody's making a fool out of me.
Nobody has to. What's that?
That's enough.
Just let me get at her. I'll show her how to pull hair.
Stop it. That goes for both of you.
Listen, Wally, anytime we need a referee...
Shut up, Toby, and stand over by that tree.
What about her?
I'll take care of her. All right, Linda. How was Toby making a fool out of you?
She wouldn't leave you alone.
What?
From the minute she got here with Paul, she's been trying to get her claws into you. And you let her.
Are you nuts?
You didn't do a thing to stop her. I've been watching you. Both of you.
You are nuts.
It took you a long time to find out, Wally.
Shut up, Toby, and stay that way until I got this thing settled. Now, Linda, since when do I have to sign the book every time I look at another girl?
If you only looked.
There's nothing between Toby and me. She's got Paul, and for what I know, she's completely satisfied. Am I right, Toby?
You're right.
Yeah. But you are not completely satisfied with me, Linda, are you?
I never said I was.
Well, you never had to. We've been engaged for exactly 1 year. How many protégés have you had in that year?
Don't be low, dear.
5. And now it's that cheap, chiseling Sam Winslow, a private detective, the worst of the lot.
I like to help people.
Sure, but why are they always men?
Coincidence.
Oh, cut it out, will you? You're not talking to someone behind a bib.
Darling,
I didn't know you were jealous.
I'm not. I've never said a thing to you about any of them, but every time I look twice at another girl, you're at me hammer and tongs. You're...
Wally, there's a third party here. Can we wait?
No, I don't care who's listening. I'm fed up and I'm through.
Yes?
Yes, and you can get yourself another manager, too. The less I see of you, the better.
You're raving.
We'll see about that. Come on, Toby. Let's find Paul and get out of here.
I'm on our way. Just a minute, Wally. You're not walking out on me.
Save your breath.
I said you're not, dear.
Listen.
When there's any air to be given, I give it. And, Wally, I'm not giving you the air yet.
You don't seem to get the idea, Linda.
I happen to like you, darling. Enough to marry you tomorrow. You either marry me tomorrow or you go to prison.
What's that?
I'll repeat it for you. Slowly.
What have you got up your sleeve?
The ace of trumps, and it's been there for a long time.
Okay. Show it.
You're a thief, Wally.
What?
And I'm the only one who could keep you out of jail.
You'd better start explaining, Linda.
All right. If you don't mind the crowd.
Well, let Toby hear it.
You've been forging my name to checks.
Have I?
$70,000 worth. You know my signature, and you've been doing a perfect job.
Where are those checks?
You'll see them in court.
I'll see them now. Where are they, Linda?
Oh, stop it. You're twisting my arm.
Come on, baby. Produce.
You'll never get them, Wally. You can kill me, but you'll never get those checks.
Well, it's about time, Professor. What kept you?
I didn't realize you were waiting, Mr. Winslow.
We said 10 minutes, didn't we? I've been sitting in this car for 20.
I'm sorry, but I met Mr. Palmer, and he was agitated about the disappearance of his lady friend, so I thought...
Tried some psychology, huh?
Not quite. I looked around for her just to be helpful.
You're the type, aren't you?
Well...
Yeah. Okay, let's go for that drive.
Mr. Winslow, would you mind if we didn't?
What's the idea?
It's rather late, and I can talk to you here just as well.
Okay.
It's about... Well, I think you know.
Me and Linda?
Yes.
You don't approve?
Miss Barry is my patient. Her welfare is my concern.
I'm not good for it, huh?
I think you ought to leave at once. I'm sorry. I was only trying to relieve a delicate situation. Miss Barry and Mr. Brooks are engaged to be married.
I read that in Paul Palmer's column a year ago.
They should be married, Mr. Winslow. But as long as you're in the picture...
Stop right there, pal. If Linda wants to wash me out, she can do it any time.
Well...
The fact is, she wants me in. So that's where I stay.
Would you marry her? You won't. You don't love her.
No, I'm not exactly indifferent to her charms, Professor.
She has a lot of money.
You catch on fast, don't you?
Suppose I were to tell her that.
You want to live, don't you?
Mr. Winslow, are you...
You want to go right on psychologizing dames for big fat fees? You can't do that when you're dead.
You're not threatening me, young man. I know Miss Barry has given you money. And I know that she's made you the beneficiary of one of her largest life insurance policies.
You know a lot, pal.
I also know that you've been poisoning her mind against Mr. Brooks. But you'll never get another chance. When I get through telling Miss Barry the truth about you...
Nice speech, Professor. Now take a deep breath.
What?
Hold it. Hold it. It might have to last you a lifetime.
Here's your room, Toby. Good night. I'll see you in the morning.
Paul, I don't know why I listened to you. After what Linda said and did to me tonight...
She's a crackpot, but she's loaded with material. At least 2 columns out of 1 weekend.
All right. But I don't like the idea of sleeping in her house.
Good night, sweetheart. Pleasant dreams.
Who's there?
It's me, Paul. Let me in.
Well, what's the matter, Toby?
Don't ask me now. Just let me in.
Wait a minute. I'll get in my bathrobe.
Would you please hurry?
I'm doing the best I can. Even getting into a bathrobe takes time. All right.
Oh, Paul, darling.
What's the matter?
I had the most awful dream.
What?
I dreamed I was Cupid riding a black horse.
Toby, do you realize it's only 5 o'clock in the morning?
I couldn't sleep a wink after that. Every time I closed my eyes, there was that black horse. And Linda.
Oh, my aching life.
It was terrible. I was sitting on the horse, and I kept shooting arrows into her heart.
Yeah.
Poisoned arrows. Every time I took one out of the quiver, I dipped it into a bottle of cyanide that was tied around the horse's neck.
Go back to bed, sugar. What you need is some sleep.
But I can't.
Darling.
Paul, you've got to help me. Let's go down to the living room.
But, honey, why?
That's where the dream took place.
You expect to find a black horse down there?
I don't know what I expect to find. But if you don't come with me...
Get that look out of your eyes, Angel.
Paul, I'm desperate. I've never been so upset before.
Now, take my arm, Cupid. We're off to catch a dream.
I wouldn't bother you ordinarily.
Sometimes I wish you would. Hunting we will go. Hunting we will go. Watch your step, the stairs.
Thanks. If I could only be as calm as you.
My arm would feel fine. You're digging your nails into it, and it's not even responsible for your dream.
I'm sorry.
I'll bet you are.
But I am.
You never liked this arm anyway. Now tell me the truth.
Paul, that light.
Where?
Under the living room door.
Okay. So you're crazy about my arm. Stay here.
Oh.
Do you want to get knocked down by a horse?
Going with you.
Good Lord.
Linda. On the floor. With an arrow in her chest. I killed her, Paul. Don't try to tell me I didn't.
You didn't.
Oh, what's the use? You'd say anything to make me feel good.
Now listen, honey.
I'm a killer, and no amount of coaxing is going to convince me that I'm not.
But dreams don't make murderers.
How do you know I was dreaming?
You said so.
Maybe that's what I thought, but actually... Goodbye, Paul. It's been nice knowing you.
Where are you going?
The police will have to know about this, and I'm going to phone them.
No, you're not. Put it down, Toby.
I've got to give myself up.
Okay, then I'll put it down. Sorry, your hand was in the way. Now, you'll do me one favor. Don't tell anyone about your dream.
We're going to have the police in on this, aren't we?
Sure, but not until I've got you straightened out. Come on.
Where?
Out for a walk. Let somebody else
Good
find...
morning.
Huh? Ah, Professor Caldwell.
Up bright and early, aren't we? I always say there's nothing like the country air to... Good heavens. Behind you, Miss Barry.
We found her that way.
An arrow in her chest. Hi. Her pulse. Mr. Palmer, do you realize she's been murdered?
I'm beginning to.
Who did this?
We don't know.
I did, Professor.
Toby.
You, Miss Randolph.
You'd better send for the police. I'll tell them everything.
Well, as long as you've gone this far, why not tell it to Professor Caldwell? He's a psychologist.
Is this a problem in psychology?
She had a dream.
It was more than that, Paul. I saw the whole thing. The living room, Linda, and I was shooting arrows into her heart.
But you were riding on a black horse. Professor, do you see a black horse in this room?
Very, very interesting.
She was also dressed up as Cupid.
She was?
Forget it.
Miss Randolph, you had a dream in which you saw yourself as Cupid murdering Miss Barry?
So I thought.
But there was no romantic conflict between you and Miss Barry?
Who said there wasn't?
Toby, for Pete's sake.
Let her talk, Mr. Palmer.
She'll hang herself.
We'll see about that. Go on, Miss Randolph.
Last night, Linda accused me of trying to take Wally Brooks away from her. We had a hair-pulling match.
Amazing. The most unusual dream coincidence I've ever heard of.
Professor...
Now, don't be alarmed, Mr. Palmer. This young lady is quite innocent.
You mean it couldn't have happened as I told it?
Certainly not. You're not Cupid and there's no horse. But...
Yes?
Well, on the other hand, Miss Barry is dead. There is an arrow through her heart. This young lady is quite innocent.
You mean it couldn't have happened as I told it?
Certainly not. You're not Cupid and there's no horse. But...
Yes?
Well, on the other hand, Miss Barry is dead. There is an arrow through her heart. That can only mean that if you're guilty, Miss Randolph, then you must be a somnambulist.
Oh, good Lord.
What now, Toby?
Paul, as a child, I used to walk in my sleep regularly.
You don't care what you do to yourself. Listen, Professor, I've got an idea.
I'm afraid we need one, Mr. Palmer.
If you hypnotized Toby, we could really find out what she did last night, couldn't we?
We could.
All right. Then hypnotize. Sit down, Toby. We're going to work.
But, Paul, I told you.
I want to know the truth. And I've got it.
You mean I don't have to be hypnotized?
No. All you've got to do is remember what happened after Linda pulled your hair last night.
She...
What you told me just before you went to your room.
Wally said he was through, and she... Of course.
She accused Wally of forging her name to checks.
Mr. Palmer, do you realize what you're saying?
I'm saying what Toby said Linda said. And she was there. Come on. We'll ask Wally.
Don't knock yourselves out, kiddies.
Sam.
Yeah. I'll bet she never expected to die that way off stage.
How long have you been here, Sam?
Not long enough to embarrass anybody. Why?
What made you come down? It's only 6 o'clock.
I get restless sometimes. Why?
You've got a reputation for waking up with a dinner bell.
Oh,
You think it was me, huh?
It could have been, Mr. Winslow.
We're going to hear from the professor.
Mr. Palmer, this man is the beneficiary of a $50,000 insurance policy taken out by Miss Barry.
Well, I'll be...
Not anymore, Toby. Okay, Sam. You tell me.
I had influence with the babe. I was her type.
That's not telling me, pal.
She hired me to find out where her dough was going. Checks she didn't remember signing. Then she took a shine to me. What was I going to do?
Now, listen,
That's
Sam.
exactly what I did. After I found out who was signing those checks with Linda's Johanna Hancock. It was her boyfriend, Wally Brooks.
I know all about that.
Great. Now, here's something you don't know. Where's Wally?
What?
His room's next to mine. I heard him going out about 10 minutes ago. That's what woke me up.
That's ridiculous. Mr. Brooks has a car in the garage, and we heard no car.
There it is, Professor. Well, what do you say, Paul?
Well, send for the police. They know all the answers. Oh, well. How about some breakfast, Toby?
No, thanks, Paul.
It'll be an hour before we hit New York, and Oh, look. There's a nice quiet place just around the next intersection. The food's good.
I don't feel like eating, Paul.
What's the matter with you?
Why didn't you let me tell the police about my dream?
Oh, it's that dream again.
I killed Linda.
Listen, honey, the police know how to analyze a crime, and they suspect Wally.
Just because he disappeared.
He didn't take a thing that belonged to him, not even his socks.
It doesn't prove he's a murderer.
He's been forging Linda's name to checks, and she found him out.
He wouldn't have killed her for that. She was ready to marry
Now,
him.
listen,
I won't. Wally's not a killer. And I don't believe he was ever a thief.
But the police found the checks.
Oh, what's the use? You've made up your mind to cheat the law, and you don't care who dies, as long as it isn't me.
You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm going to prove it once and for all.
If you only could.
We'll turn around, and then we'll hit right for police headquarters.
Why?
In your dream, Cupid was dipping the arrows into a bottle of cyanide.
Yes?
So far, there's been no mention of cyanide by the police or the coroner. I'm going to insist on a lab test of the arrow point.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But while that's being done, Angel, you keep your mouth shut about that dream. Understand?
That's a very unusual request, Mr. Palmer.
I'm an unusual guy, Captain.
Yeah?
You read my column?
Sometimes.
Then you ought to know how I work. I do a thorough job on everything and everybody.
Yeah?
Captain, it wouldn't take much of your time to do a lab test on that arrow. Please.
Why should you be interested, Miss Randolph?
Well, you see...
Frankly, I don't.
Paul, I'm going to tell him.
Toby.
I can't live with it anymore. I've got to talk.
You've done too much already. Let's get out of here.
Now, wait a minute. She's got to talk, and I'm here to listen. Go ahead, lady.
I think I killed Linda Barry.
Uh-huh.
Paul and Professor Caldwell have been trying to tell me I couldn't have done it. But I know differently.
Sure. Here's a pencil and some paper. You write it down.
Nothing doing, Captain.
Now, you stay out of this, Mr. Palmer.
But you don't understand. You can't take a confession from her.
You wait outside.
Oh, for Pete's sake, why don't you listen?
Outside, mister.
All right. But you'll never convict her. She claims there was cyanide on the tip of the arrow.
There was.
What?
Here's the coroner's report. You want to read it?
Good Lord, but she only dreamed about it.
Now, listen, you. If you make one more attempt to influence this lady,
I've got to use that phone.
Are you getting out of here?
Yes, but let me call Professor Caldwell, the psychologist. He's an expert on dreams.
Call him from the other room.
Okay, but hold up that confession until he gets here, will you?
The other room, mister. Now, here's the door. Come on.
Thanks for the assist, Captain. I never would have made it without your help. Hurry up, hurry up.
Hello?
Now, Professor Caldwell, this is Paul Palmer.
Oh, Mr. Palmer, I'm so glad you phoned. How soon can you get here?
No, I can't. I want you
But
to...
you must. Mr. Brooks came in a few minutes ago.
What?
And without a word of warning, he began to beat up Mr. Winslow. If you don't get out here as soon as you can, there'll be another murder in this house.
Wally? He came back?
Please, Mr. Palmer, as soon as you can.
It'll take me at least 15 minutes.
That won't do any good.
It'll have to. Now, listen, Professor. Don't let Wally get away. I wanted to meet a certain captain of the police with a first-hand story of why he disappeared.
Is that you, Mr. Palmer?
It's me, Professor. Where's Wally?
You said you'd be here in 15 minutes. It's more than half an hour since you
I
called.
had a flat. Where's Wally Brooks?
We took him up to his room about a half an hour ago.
You took him up?
He means we dragged him up.
Sam, what are you doing on your feet? But, Professor, you told
It was
me...
phenomenal, Mr. Palmer. I went back to the living room after I spoke to you, and there was... I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I was standing, and Wally wasn't.
But I thought that
So
he...
it seemed, pal. He took me by surprise, but all I had to get over was one punch. And when that was settled...
Okay, let's go up and have a talk with him.
If he's conscious.
Sam, don't flatter yourself. You don't hit that hard.
My pal.
Not by any stretch of the imagination. Professor, would you say that Sam is human?
Definitely not. A species of two-legged animal. If I had my way,
Which you haven't.
Okay, we'll settle this later. Listen, Wally.
Hey, what do you know? The guy came to.
Not so as you can notice it.
Well, we left him on the bed. If he didn't come to, how'd he get in that chair?
Come here, Professor.
What seems to be wrong, Mr. Palmer?
Check him. I've got an idea he's dead.
Dead? Mr. Winslow.
Now, don't look at me. I couldn't have killed him with one punch. I don't hit that hard.
He is dead, Mr. Palmer.
Now, wait a minute.
Shut up, Sam.
How can a guy tell without a stethoscope?
Mr. Brooks has no pulse, and there's no action in his heart that I can hear.
Let's call a doctor.
I'm a doctor, Mr. Winslow. My specialty happens to be psychology, but that doesn't mean that
Never mind that, Professor. I know what killed Wally.
What's that?
Poison. From this tiny bottle.
Bottle? But I don't see it.
He's clutching it in his hand, and he's got a grip on it I can't break.
Leave him alone, pal. The guy committed suicide. I want the cops to find that bottle in his hand.
But I've got to know whether it contains cyanide. Come on, Professor. You should know how to flex muscles.
I'm afraid it would be impossible in this case, Mr. Palmer.
Why?
Obviously, rigor mortis is set in.
I'm not giving up. If that bottle contains cyanide, then... what'd you say, Professor?
Rigor mortis, Mr. Palmer. The rigidity of the muscles that occurs after death.
Yeah. Sam, close that door.
What's the idea?
Close it. I want to ask the professor a few questions with no way out.
Okay. You've got me guessing, pal.
Mr. Palmer, what is the meaning of this?
I'll let you know, Professor. Sam, get on that phone. Call the Medical Society of New York.
What?
Don't look so dumb. Ask them if they got a member by the name of Professor Caldwell. What's your name, Professor?
You're very clever, Mr. Palmer.
It's about time. But it didn't take you long to get that gun out of your pocket, did it?
Does it matter?
Why did you kill Linda?
She made a startling discovery.
The checks were forged?
They weren't forged, Mr. Palmer.
Now, look. Oh, no, I see what you mean. She signed them herself while she was under your influence.
Hey, what goes with this guy?
An electric chair, Sam. He's a phony psychologist, and Linda was one of his patients. Each time she came to his office, he got her just in the right mood to be hypnotized. Then he'd tell her to write a check and sign it. They were all made out to cash, weren't they, Professor?
Of course. And she cashed them for me while she was in that right mood.
But why did you kill her?
I told you.
Can't you figure it out, pal? She accused Wally. And suppose she had the guy arrested. You think DAs are dumb?
No.
They investigate everybody. And what did they find out? This guy's a phony doctor.
Yeah. Remind me to like you the next time we meet.
Thanks.
Now, Professor, about Toby. You hypnotized her, too. And you induced her to have that dream. Why?
The young lady was a perfect subject after her quarrel with Miss Barry.
But how did you get to her? I took her to the door of the room and I saw her go in.
She came out later. The poor child was very disturbed. Naturally, she needed attention.
Dirty hypocrite.
Take it easy, Paul. The gun.
Yeah. You changed your mind about Toby, Professor, when Wally disappeared. When he came back, you set him up as the perfect suicide.
It's quite simple. Such an easy way out. No trial, no investigation. The suspect committed suicide. QED.
QED. Well.
Yeah. So that's why you tried to get rid of me, Professor.
I think I'll go now, gentlemen.
You didn't want a private detective around while you were fixing a murder and a frame-up.
Goodbye, Mr. Winslow.
You even tried to put the frame around me. You know, Professor, that makes me mad.
Really? Would you like me to put you out of your misery?
I'm standing here by the door, Professor. If you want to get out, you'll have to come through me.
You insist on being a fool, don't you?
No, Professor. Mr. Palmer. Present. You shouldn't have forgotten about me, not even for a minute. Bad psychology.
Oh, Paul, I'll take the gun.
I'll take it, Sam. One more twist. It's all mine. Now, Professor.
I have nothing to say to you, Mr. Palmer.
He doesn't like me, Sam.
Oh, I'm sick about it. You think I ought to kill myself?
You're a hard nut to crack, chum. Okay, you take one arm and I'll take the other. We'll give this guy a lift down to police headquarters that won't be exactly psychological. Hunting we will go. Hunting we will go. Yeah? Yes, Toby?
How did you decide that Professor Caldwell was the murderer?
He said rigor mortis.
Yes, that's what you told me before, but how did you really decide?
Wally couldn't have been dead more than half an hour. Rigor mortis takes from 6 to 8 hours to set in. Any doctor knows that.
Any real doctor. But what made Wally so rigid?
Hypnotism. Did you ever see people hypnotized?
Several times, but of course. Their bodies become so rigid they couldn't even be bent.
There you have it.
Thanks, I don't want it.
Death doesn't relax those muscles. They stay that way.
I still don't want it.
You're hard to please, young lady. What do you want?
Would you really like to know?
Sure.
I want something to eat. I'm hungry.
And so closes tonight's story, Cupid Can Be Deadly. Stedman Coles wrote the radio script. Roger Bauer produced and directed. Sidney Smith played the part of Paul Palmer. Virginia Dwyer was Toby Randolph. Cameron Prudhomme was Professor Caldwell. Helen Shields played Linda Barry. Larry Haynes was Sam Winslow. And Shirling Oliver was heard as Wally Brooks. Oh, I beg your pardon. Hello, I hope I haven't kept you waiting. Yes, this is the Crime Club. I'm the librarian. Next week? I'm sorry, we won't be here next week. No, this is the last program in the current series. Yes, we're sorry, too. Of course there'll be something here next week. Racket Smashers. Yes. At the same time and over most of these same stations. You'll be listening? Fine. I'll tell them to look for you.
This program came from New York. This is the last broadcast in the current Crime Club series. In its place, the Mutual Broadcasting System will present the exciting real-life crime drama, Racket Smashers. Don't fail to tune in at this time next week over most of these stations for the true criminal cases of Racket Smashers. Stay tuned now for another Mutual favorite, Quiet Please, which follows in just a moment. This is the world's largest network, serving more than 450 radio stations, the Mutual Broadcasting System.
That's it for this week. We'll be back next week with more old-time radio. I hope you can join us then. Till then, this is Jim Dolan thanking you for listening. The RTC Weekly Download is produced by Chris Stone and Jim Dolan.